Depends on who you got with you, Ross.
DC and the GV.
Okay, well, it's got minus 1800, and then I've got 28 degrees, which there's no way in hell it's 28 degrees. I'll flick it on and off again.
Yeah. If I start the bats, we're starting Adelaide back.
Okay.
So I just go back, centres.
Thanks, mate.
Forwards. And then
Oh, it just did something then.
Halves. I mean, they won't play Hughes on. If they play Hughes on Doug Hawkins.
I've got 27.1.
And they fall for the 3-card people playing Lindsay on. Lindsay hasn't got any pace in it. Smart.
Okay, I've got it working now.
He's been mainly half-back.
Donny,
He's got the least room.
Well, how's 18 degrees sounds around the mark, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds good.
I'll just put it on hold so we don't lose it.
The Guinness will be interesting, though.
Do you want me to put my jacket on? We're going to sort of have a test. Do you want me to put it on now?
Thanks very much, Bruce. Well, conditions down here on Football Park, excellent as per usual. Current temperature 18 degrees. Our expected, where do you want it, mate?
Yeah, right there.
Expected low 10 degrees, the humidity 59%, the wind, a very, very slight wind, about 3 kilometres, goal advantage, none whatsoever, but favouring just a little the members' right pocket, the forecast.
Just getting my watch fixed, Donny. I just had to change it half hour behind here, you know.
Those suits are a bit tight on you girls, you know.
Jacket on now. 2 minutes till we go to wear, so.
Good luck to you, Donny. Hope you do well today.
Yep.
Who's the oldest out of you all?
No worries, mate. Okay, sure. I'm going to say about 28,000. And well, the intro I've got for Ross will take me about 4 minutes. I've written a few things down.
It's hardly long enough. Is that the first year?
That was when you were in Perth, before you came to Melbourne and became a legend.
No worries. I just want to wish Bruce the best of luck in front of his home crowd, and my fondest regards to Shawnee.
Thank you, Maxie. Okay, we'll get serious now, Don. Can't muck around here. Tell you what, I get nervous when I work with committee. Normal human being, I'm all right, but committee, I get nervous.
Where's he going with that?
Yeah, I shake it too. We might be in unison.
There'll be 2 corkies.
Hey, Dan, you must say something about class if you shake your leg, I reckon, don't you? No, Don was telling me about it. Well, a moment ago we gave you a glimpse of the Adelaide Crows rooms. Let's take you in there now with Max Stevens, with the South Australian football legend, the football manager Neil Curley.
Well, Bruce McAvaney just said you're still a football legend. You must have been pretty happy with the way they played tonight, Curls.
It was a tough game of footy, and the Footscray threw everything at us. There was no stage of the game until the last 5 minutes that we had control of it. We had burst, they'd have a burst. They had good players emerging all over the ground throughout the night, and we just had to keep at it, and they kept at it and kept at it very well. And we found a couple of forwards that helped us in the end, and that was the difference.
Well, Curls, I suppose a bit of sweet revenge. You and Teddy Whitten have been mates for years, so it's a bit of a payback tonight.
Well, I would have loved Ted to have come over. I rang him on Friday and said, "Can you make it?" It would have been great. I wanted him to toss the coin because he's a great football man. It would have been nice to be there. If you're listening, Ted, bad luck. We'll see you in Melbourne.
And what about Andrew Jarman? What happened there in the first quarter when he came off?
Oh, it was just broke the disciplinary rules, which players do from time to time, and he had to pay the penalty. It was as simple as that. But to his credit, when he came back on, he virtually turned the game around. His control in the middle was absolutely fantastic.
Okay, Curls, thanks very much. Congratulations to Adelaide. Back to you, Bruce.
Thanks.
Time now to check the CUB AFL 1991 Premiership Season League ladder.
And here's the completion of round 6. You can see that Adelaide has moved up a couple of positions with that 50% match ratio. So the 6 at the moment: West Coast, Essendon, Geelong, Melbourne, Hawthorn and Carlton. As we look ahead to next week's matches, and there's some excellent ones: North Melbourne against Fitzroy, Essendon and Carlton. What a game that'll be. Melbourne and Brisbane, Hawthorn and West Coast, one of the matches of the year. St Kilda and Adelaide, when the Crows will win with a chance there. Sunday, it's Sydney against Geelong and Footscray against Richmond. Now, Friday night in Melbourne, it'll be North Melbourne up against Fitzroy, and that match will be followed by the Davis Cup quarter-final, France against Australia from Nimes. What a day of sport it's been on 7. I hope you've enjoyed it. Terrific match from here. Hawthorn big winners earlier in the day, and tonight the Crows get the money from Football Park. Good night.
Field, an umpire stands. He's got a ball raised up in the air. He's waiting for a siren to ring. Siren to ring. In the streets of any suburb, in any country town in Australia, little children are dreaming the very same thing. It's a national obsession. Football. This is the greatest game in the world. Let's play football. It's a national obsession. Football. Let's play football. Season, a captain stands with a cup raised in the air. The winner of the greatest game in the world. Put your feet up. Let's play football. Try and relax. It's football time. Let's play football.
This has been a 7 Sport production.